Alright folks, this is going to be a video on tier 10 heavy tanks and their place in both random battles and in clan wars. So sort of, to start, we'll begin with the Americans. The whole point of this video is hopefully going to sort of help inform a decision based on how you want to play World of Tanks. Sort of if you're going to play for the long-term clan wars stuff or just for random battles. So again, back to the Americans. There are two American tier 10 heavies, the T-110E5 and the T-57 heavy. One of them gets used, one of them does not. The T-110E5 is, I mean, the biggest issue with it is the cupola on top. It's not strong enough in regards to sort of competitiveness. Even in randoms, this gigantic sort of, it's often referred to as a tumor on top, is it almost kills the whole tank, to be honest with you. Whereas the gun on this is the only workable thing. It gets great heat, it has a nice reload, dispersion, aim time, it's very comfortable. The issue is the platform. So as far as clan wars, the T-125 is a big no from me. That said, there's also the T-57 heavy, which is a 4-shot 400 alpha autoloader with, of the three of these, the AMX-50B and the Kronvong, this one reloads, I think, second fastest, and interclip, meaning the time it takes to load another round out of the 4 ready to shoot is 2 seconds, which is substantially the fastest. That said, this actually does get use in clan wars. You'll see this traditionally on Ensk or Himmelsdorf. You'll see this just more in, it's obviously clan dependent and caller dependent, but the 4-shot autoloader and the relatively okay gun handling, especially when you're sort of city brawling, combined with the 340 heat pen, makes this one of the more competitive tier 10 heavy autoloaders. So as far as the Americans, TLDR, E5 is a no-go. T-57 is good to go. Next up, we've got the Germans. I've only got 2 of 3, and again, to reiterate, this video is going to be more in the realm of tech trees. I don't really want to look into, your 260s, your 279s, your chieftains. We'll do like an addendum, or I think that's the word, at the end, sort of throwing these guys on. But since, presumably the people watching this video are more in the realm of trying to get into clan wars, we'll base this just on tech tree. So again, with the Germans, you have the E100, the Maus, and you also have nowadays the Panzer 7, but there's a reason I don't have it at my garage, and it's because it's not worthwhile. So let's look at the ones we do have. The E100, I personally enjoy this for randoms. It's workable. The heat pen is nice. It's like 350, I think. 334, wow, substantially lower. Wait, no, really? No way. Yeah, 334 heat pen, shit. Oh no. Anyway, the heat is workable, not great. 330 is not terrible. It'd be nice if it was 340. That said, in clan wars, E100's a no-go. It's just too easy to pen. The flat turret face, sort of this whole area here, is easy peasy lemon squeezy. You're gonna come into the issues of clan wars, especially at a high level, is no expense is spared. It's large repair kits, it's generally a lot of heat, a lot of APCR that's gonna go right through. You just can't bring this when you're going to be dealing with even Super Conquerors or Chieftains if you are sort of playing at that next level. So the E100, as far as clan wars, is a no-go. In pubs, in your random battles, it's fun. Not good, fun. Next up, we've got the Maus, another tier 10 German super heavy, whereas this occasionally gets use. You'll tend to see this sort of in the realm of clans that prefer to camp. Just because of the HP, the size, and the ability to block lanes. I've seen situations where people have driven a Maus onto the enemy cap circle and died side on, and then stuck maybe a Batchat, a 907, or a smaller, tank, whatever class it may be, behind the Maus, and that led to a successful base capture. Same goes for defense. Sort of building that line. That said, the mouse 490 alpha, 246 base pen. It's not terrible. Again, it does suffer from the E100 syndrome though, whereas the cheeks here and here, even depending on angle, you can pen this bit here or this bit here. So even angling the turret, a lot of people don't really know that, but you know, even angling the turret, you'll be in some trouble. The lower plate is kind of troll, but again, in Clan Wars, the amount of heat and sort of all-around premium ammo that's being spent, you're gonna have an issue. So as far as German tanks in Clan Wars, tech tree specific, because there is the VKK, and we'll discuss that at the end of the video. If you insist, as far as heavy tanks go, I'd say that get the mouse. You'll see more use out of this than you will the E100. It's just more viable in more situations. Alright, now onto the Russians. So here's your peak Russian bias. The IS-7, I would say, is still worthwhile. The thing with the IS-7 is, nowadays, it's more relegated to a scouting role. Is sort of where I've seen it. What you'll have people do is you'll trade off maybe the Verstab or the Rammer for something like a heavy spaliner along with coated optics, and you can actually utilize this a little bit like a scout. Because the turret is so damn strong, you can sort of, for example, think of Prokhorovka, right? You can have the IS-7 play that middle ridge just as a scout, just existing with the turret. The spaliner to combat artillery splashing and just high explosive spam, and the optics to really, really pump the view range up. You can get the view range on this probably without much issue up to almost, I don't know, I'd say 480. I mean, we're talking light tank view range here as far as for a sort of hull down super heavy, you know, in the regard of the turret strength. So in randoms, I sort of leave my IS-7 more in the damage dealing role. And one thing you'll notice, this is one of the tanks I have where I tend to load more premium than standard. I don't do that very often. That said, with a tank like the IS-7, it kind of needs it, because the issue that you'll tend to run into is you have, what is it, 250 base pen, 303 APCR. The 303 is very, very weak. That is extraordinarily weak AP or premium ammo. There are tier 8s that have higher premium pen than the IS-7. That said, as a whole, I don't want to push this video too long. We're already at 7 minutes, almost 8. The IS-7 is good for competitive, not ideal, but good. In randoms, it's fun. Now the 277. The Object 277 is another Russian heavy tank. It is the bread and butter of 99% of Clan Wars. Get it. This will be the easiest sort of decision as far as tank class like selections go. The Object 277. It has everything. It has 265 base pen, 300 and I believe 40 heat pen, a 9.8 second reload with no improved equipment, just brothers in arms, and food, I suppose. It's fast. The turret has one weak point. This cupola right here, this sort of bottom portion, right? You can see the welding, I suppose. This bit right here is the only frontal weak point. The upper plate, you'll get penned quite reliably, you know, sort of in that Clan Wars heat spam, but with APCR, you can bounce this. Even with heat, you can bounce this depending on sort of where the rounds come in. The lower plate, obvious weak point, but the turret is strong, the gun is good, it's fast, it's a great tank all around. So, again, we are going to skip the reward ones for now. We will add a little addendum at the end of the video. The Super Conqueror, another must-have in my opinion. The Super Conqueror is just too good. It tends to get overshadowed by the Chieftain, just because of what the Chieftain can do. It's faster, the alpha's higher, the base pen is very good, which in Clan Wars doesn't really matter, but as far as randoms, is nice. You know, so on and so forth. Again, we'll discuss that later. But look at the gun stats, right? If you could see this here. 1.76 aim time, 0.29 dispersion, with a 6.8 second reload on 400 alpha. This tank is a joy to play. There are seldom like it as far as just hull down, absolute sort of decimation, I suppose. What you'll see in top-end clans is the S-Conk will get sort of thrown to the side in replacement for the Chieftain, the T95 Chieftain, which, you know, is understandable. But in sort of the up-and-coming clans where you guys maybe don't have access to just, lots of chieftains, the S-Conk is as close as you're going to get. It's not, extraordinarily slow, but at the same time, it's slow enough to where you kind of relegate it to being just a DPM sort of, how do I phrase this? Position or lane denial, I suppose. It's sort of in the same realm as a STRVS1, right? Where if you see a hull down superconk, you're probably not going to fight it, because the time you get to it, it's going to fuck you up, man. You're going to be in some issues here. That said, compared to the chieftain, it just doesn't get picked. However, for an up-and-coming clan, it's good. For randoms, the tank is insanity. It's my favorite tank in the whole game. Next up will be the AMX 50B. This is another 4-shot autoloader for 400 alpha. The 50B is sort of the antithesis of the T57 Heavy. The 57 Heavy is just the poster child for load premium, drive into the into the town, into the close quarters, and just kill everything. You get in there, kill everything. The 50B is much more of a sort of I'm gonna hang back, I'm gonna load premium, and I'm gonna do my thing. I don't want to get shot. I want to leave the dirty work to somebody else and let me just pick up the profits. The gun on the 50B is quite nice comparatively. Just under 2-second reload, or aim time, I'm sorry, with 0.31 dispersion, which I think is a lie, but for most players, and you could ask most higher skilled players, that they will generally talk quite highly of the AMX 50B. You trade the sort of how do I phrase this? The interclip reload, the reload time between shots, the 2 seconds on the T57 to 2.5 on this. So you're sort of relegating yourself again more into that sniper role. As a whole, in Clan Wars, it does get used. It's not a top pick, but it is worth getting, especially over, for example, the other French heavy, the AMX M454, which, as far as, let's take a look, as far as playing it in randoms, is okay. It's not good. It's okay. But in Clan Wars, this thing doesn't even get a second guess. So, sort of focus on the 50B, and you'll be good. You don't need to get it. It's not a mandate. You won't be denied access to a clan, more than likely, because you don't have 50B. But as a whole, it's good in pubs. It's good in Clan Wars. It's all around let's say a 7 out of 10. Not terrible. Not insane. And now we arrive at the tank that almost made me quit the game for a very long time. The Type 5. The Type 5 nowadays is trash. It is straight garbage. You can see here I have the armor-piercing gun equipped because it's just more worthwhile. The HE gun still has some sort of memes. You have 190 pen on the premium HE, but it's not practical. I mean, for those that played when the Type 5 was sort of in its reign of terror, you would see just... I mean, you could splash under an E100 for 600 HP. That doesn't happen anymore. It just doesn't. As far as the Type 5, for Clan Wars, don't get it. Just, if you were grinding it, stop. It's not worthwhile. If you're looking for a Clan Wars viable tank, this ain't it, Chief. This just does not even semi-embody what it used to. As far as randoms, you could load the AP gun with a 13-second reload, 600 alpha. You could still bully tanks. It's not too tough of a 3-mark, 3.6k combined. I mean, the biggest issue you'll have is people running away from you. You'll just have sort of chasing that damage is going to be your biggest issue. But as a whole, Type 5, skip it. Don't bother. It's not worth it, in my opinion. Even in randoms, it's okay, but nothing to rush for. Next up is going to be the 113, the Chinese Tier 10 Heavy. This is sort of a 430U that got a little chunky. It's sort of quite similar. You have that heat spam that tends to happen. It has less ammo, if I remember right. The gun handling, I think, is even worse as well. I think the dispersion's a little better, but, again, we're talking about heavy tanks for today. The 113, as far as randoms, it's not amazing. It's not terrible. I do actually thoroughly enjoy mine. That said, just because I feel it's fun does not change the fact it does not get picked on a reliable level in most clans you're going to see. We actually do use it in Maho occasionally, but as far as in the grand scheme of sort of tier 10 heavies, it's good, not great. It's good, not great. If you're looking for a fun tank with a sort of a... How do I even phrase it? Generic playstyle, a sort of one-dimensional, you know, side scrape, point turret towards the enemy, and you kind of win. This tank does it. It's fun. Next up is the 5A, the suppose big brother of the 113, or little brother because it came later to the game, I think. This tank is in randoms, I believe, one of the best tier 10 heavies for random battles, because the whole gun, its existence is, it just embodies bully. You have an 8.8 second reload with food and sort of the standard heavy tank equipment and Brothers in Arms for 490 alpha with 7 degrees of gun depression. This tank is a bully in the purest sense of the word. If you fight tier 8s, you can sort of call games where you show up and you'll be like, oh, we got Paris in a 5A. This will be about 5k. You can reliably get damage in this, particularly against low tiers. It just facilitates that bully lifestyle so well. Even better than the 277 in my opinion. So as far as randoms, the 5A is very strong as far as your sort of choices. With the 113, it just doesn't have that same level of punishment available to it. That said, in Clan Wars, it still gets used. You can use it semi-interchangeably with the 277. The 277 is just faster and has better hull armor. As a whole, though, they're very similar, and you know, if you're already like up the Chinese tech tree, sort of, you know, tier 7, even tier 6 to be honest, like, but you're nowhere near the 277, get this and you should be fine. Next up, and almost last, is going to be the Kronvong. We're going to try and cut this video down to not 20 minutes. I know some people don't have all the time in the world. The Kronvong is one of my favorite tier 10 heavies. It's right behind the Super Conch. As far as randoms, this tank is a beauty. You can absolutely kick the shit out of tanks lower than you. This thing with 12 degrees gun depression, 440 alpha, is brutal. This is the last in the set of the 3 sort of heavy tank autoloaders. So you have the Kron, the 50B, and the 57. This one I feel like bullies best in my opinion. I've just never had this much fun with a autoloading heavy, if that makes sense. It just works. I guess Fallout 76 joke, but it just works for me. Plus it looks cool as shit, which is a big part of a tank being good. I mean, 480 meters view range, 3.1k DPM with, I think fully kitted, this is a 19-second reload on 440 alpha for 3 rounds. It's a monster. The Kronvong is an absolute monster. One of my favorite tanks. Clan Wars does not really get used. Pubs, it is right behind the Super Conch for me. I absolutely adore it. I mean, we casually had on Muravanka on stream the other day, like an 8k damage game. It's just a joy to play, an absolute joy. So this is going to wrap up the sort of heavy tanks. Are they good in Clan Wars? Are they not good? You know, and also I guess a little bit in regards to their competitiveness in randoms. That said, we are going to look quickly at the 260 in the next like minute and a half. The 260, better 277. Generally, the 260 gets picked over the 277 because the gun, the armor is a little more troll. The turret's still very good. The tank is an absolute pleasure to play. If you can get it, you get it through the personal campaigns. You know, Stug, T28, 55A, 260, so on and so forth. This tank is outstanding. TLDR, it's great. Get it for randoms and for Clan Wars. The Object 279E. I know this is out of reach for a lot of players. It is just as broken as you may think. I have mine. I play it quite a bit. It's fun. It's strong. It absolutely decimates tier 8s. There was a game I had on Himmelsdorf against the T2065, the Patriot, who just kind of existed. It got to the point where I stopped playing. I took my hands off my keyboard. I kicked my feet up and I waited. And he couldn't pen me. I even gave him a chance by not even playing, and he couldn't. This tank is the definition, the textbook definition of broken. Last up is the Chieftain. Everybody knows the Chieftain. It's broken. It's really fucking good. It kicks the shit out of the S-Conk in a lot of cases, particularly in Clan Wars. If you can get it, get it. It just doesn't compete. So, as a whole, insane, insane, insane. All three are fantastic. So, at the end of the day, we'll do a very, very quick here, sort of, too long didn't watch, you didn't watch the whole video, this is just going to be a summation. E5, fun for pubs, not good, don't get it for Clan Wars, it does not get used. 57, fun in pubs, and does get used in Clan Wars. E100, can be fun in pubs, but even then, sometimes not, and not good for Clan Wars. The mouse, fun in pubs, most of the time outside of 3RD on proc, in which case may as well alt F4. And in Clan Wars, it gets occasional use, particularly in lower level clans. IS-7, still a monster, still gets used all the time. Sort of not in that same damage dealing role as the 277 or 5A, but it's good in both forms of random games and Clan Wars. 277, bread and butter. This is the backbone of Clan War heavy tanks. It just is. Absolutely get it. 260, grind your personal missions, people. It's very, very worthwhile. It'll get you picked more than the 277 will if you're in a rush to try and get tanks. 279, no introduction. It's amazing at everything it does. There you go. Super Conqueror, my favorite tier 10 in the game over the 260, 277, and Chieftain. I love it. The gun's fantastic. It's great in pubs. You'll use it more in lower level clans that don't have Chieftains, but if you have a Chieftain, you know, you could park this thing in the garage and throw a tarp over it. You're not going to play it. Chieftain, get it. It's objectively the best tier 10 heavy in the game, in my opinion. Well, I guess it's not objectively then. But regardless, it's very good. 50B, not my cup of tea, but is a good tank. It's good in randoms. It's not insane. It's good. And in Clan Wars, it sees occasional use. Type 5, don't bother. As a whole, don't bother. Just stop. The 113, good in randoms. Maybe not even good. Workable in randoms. And not really used in Clan Wars, but occasional use. 5A, fantastic. One of the most bully tier 10 heavies. It just kicks the crap out of tier 8s, and in Clan Wars it does see sort of situational use, especially with the 277. Sort of, if you don't have a 277, you could generally bring a 5A and your caller will be fine with it. The Kronvong is last but not least my favorite tier 10 heavy outside of the Super Conk. Especially not in Clan Wars, in pub games, random games. That said, the Kron does not see use in Clan Wars on any reliable level as far as I've personally seen. That said, every caller is different. Ask your caller, you know, within the clan you join, sort of their opinion and everything, because every caller is different. They're all going to have their own opinions, so on and so forth. So that's going to conclude today's video. I know the TLDR was also 3 minutes. I'll work on getting better, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and this will be sort of the first in a series. I am gonna push through to sort of the mediums, the lights, the TDs, the artillery. Yes, I know, artillery, but as a whole, hopefully you guys enjoyed. That's today's video. I'll see you guys on the stream at 6 p.m. Eastern every day, and thanks for watching. Have a nice evening.